Coming up tonight, Saudi Arabia responds to disaster.
And long lines at the mall must mean new technology, how you can get a new iPhone.
And Pope Francis continues his American tour.
So far, the average temperature in Syracuse is 7 degrees above normal. If this trend continues, we could be looking at the second warmest Syracuse September on record. But will this warm weather continue?
The news you need to know on Citrus at 6.
Your campus news leader.
From the CitrusTV studios, this is CitrusTV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Max Darrow.
And I'm Jessica Mendelson. Crisis in Saudi Arabia this morning. That's our top story.
Over 700 are dead and 800 injured after a stampede in Saudi Arabia.
It happened near Mina during the holy pilgrimage to Mecca.
The point in the journey, called the Hajj, is near 3 pillars that Muslims throw stones at to reenact Muhammad throwing stones at the devil.
Officials are unsure of exactly what caused the stampede.
Now, this is not the first attack in the history of the pilgrimage to Mecca.
Earlier this week, a crane collapse killed 100, and in 2006, another stampede killed almost 400.
Saudi officials have deployed and aid workers to the site in response to the disaster.
It's a story making national headlines. The fan favorite Kiss Cam will no longer be at the Dome. SU has pulled the Kiss Cam after 2 female students were pressured into kissing 2 fellow guy classmates on the big screen at the Wake Forest game. Following the incident, a man in Manlius wrote a letter to the editor of the Syracuse Post-Standard. Now, a fundraiser is in progress to help support SU legend Pearl Washington. Washington is a renowned basketball player who is currently fighting brain cancer. A 2004 graduate started a crowdfunding page in the hopes of raising $15,000 to support his treatment. So far, the page has raised almost $2,000. If you're interested in donating to the page, we have tweeted out a link from our Twitter account at CitrusTV News.
Sales for the latest iPhone models will begin tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. If you're looking to buy the iPhone 6S or 6S Plus, Destiny USA Mall will stay open overnight for customers to get in line. The only entrance that will open will be underneath the food court by the carousel. The Apple Store is located on the 2nd floor of the mall. And New Yorkers may need a new form of ID anytime they want to board a plane starting just next year. Citrus TV's Jacob Reynolds knows what you can do to make it easier to fly in 2016.
It's the airport process we love to complain about. We check in, we check bags, and then we check ourselves through security. But if you got dropped off here or parked just across the street at the parking garage and think something as simple as your driver's license out of your wallet is going to get you through security, if you're a New York flyer, it may not, starting just next year. Because in 2016, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security is not going to allow anyone to board a plane with a license that does not comply with the Real ID Act. This act requires more personal information when applying for an ID to ward off terrorists seeking easy access to U.S. IDs. That's why one local AAA director is warning people to be proactive, because a standard New York driver's license won't be compliant next year.
And we are being proactive by getting the word out and telling anybody who is traveling in 2016, especially the first quarter, that maybe they want to get an enhanced driver's license or a U.S. passport.
New York is one of 4 states with IDs that do not comply. One of the few options is to buy an enhanced ID. A DMV spokesperson gave us this statement saying they've asked for an extension and that the enhanced ID is already an option for travelers. And even though it might be a hassle, people like Janine see the benefit.
The heart of this whole act, which is to make it a little bit more difficult to get driver's licenses so that terrorists can replicate them.
So coming in 2016, if you're a New Yorker, you'll need some new paperwork to take to the skies.
Coming up, we'll have the latest on the situation in Europe as they continue to take in migrants.
And a new study about sexual abuse on college campuses reveals some serious stats.
And reporter Hunter Sines tells us about a Catholic controversy here in Syracuse while the Pope is just states away. Next on Citrus TV News at 6.
If you take a look behind me, this is a picture I took on the quad this morning. It's been a beautiful day here in Syracuse with temperatures hovering around 75 degrees. Not a single cloud in sight. Now, the next time you take an outdoor or weather-related picture, tweet it using the hashtag SUWXPics, and it could appear on our show. Stay tuned for my full weather forecast coming up.
Here's your check.
Thanks.
Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Son, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play or even what you wear. You just need to be there. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
Today, Pope Francis became the first pope to address a joint session of Congress on Capitol Hill. He urged lawmakers to spread the wealth, face immigration concerns, and to do their part to help climate change.
Just moments ago, the Pope landed just hours away from here in New York City. That's where many local Catholics will try to send him a message as they demand the Bishop of Syracuse to resign. Citrus TV's Hunter Sines will tell us why.
Catholics pack in during their lunch breaks at noon Mass at the cathedral downtown. But unlike the weather, a dark cloud hovers over the Diocese of Syracuse.
It seems so gut-wrenching.
Charles Bailey says he was raped by late priest Thomas Neary more than 200 times while attending St. Michael's Church between 1961 and 63. But those actions aren't making headlines anymore. Instead, it's the words said by current Bishop Robert Cunningham in court in 2011 during a lawsuit filed by a man who was sexually abused by a priest in the Syracuse diocese. According to court documents, a defense attorney asked Cunningham, quote, "In your view as a priest, has a boy committed a sin under those circumstances?" Bishop Cunningham's response, quote, "The boy is culpable." Now, survivors like Bailey are demanding change.
I would like to see Bishop Cunningham removed and replaced by someone that has true religious values.
In a press release, Bishop Cunningham says, quote, "I tried my best to answer questions and must admit, gave responses that I wish were different." He goes on to say victims of abuse are never at fault.
And then for him to come out with a statement afterwards, not under oath, kind of backtracking, that's not good enough.
Bailey and other concerned worshipers plan to give this signed petition to Pope Francis himself when he comes to New York City on Friday. Hunter Sines, Citrus TV.
That petition, of course, is calling for Bishop Cunningham to resign. The bishop is currently traveling with Pope Francis throughout his tour.
And for this week's Citrus TV's Spotlight, we'll be discussing the rest of Pope Francis's visit to the U.S. Joining us now is Talking Points correspondent Mike Riccardi. Mike, thanks for being with us tonight.
Good to be here.
So, Mike, has Pope Francis taken any action on child sexual abuse with the Catholic Church?
So in the past, Pope Francis has sought forgiveness for the role that the Catholic Church played in those childhood sexual abuse cases. And this past Wednesday, he praised the U.S. bishops for the way they handled that and for lending a helping hand to the victims. However, this angered a lot of victims because they felt that the U.S. bishops were doing it out of fear of lawsuit and not particularly out of the goodness of their heart. And this past June, Pope Francis announced that the Catholic Church would set up a tribunal to overhear a lot of these cases, and there's no set date for that now, so still a lot of work to do.
Now, Mike, what was Pope Francis's overall message to Congress today?
So it was interesting. His joint address kind of felt like the State of the Union. You know, he walked down the aisle. He didn't shake as many hands as President Obama would, but he did shake the hand of Secretary of State John Kerry, mainly because he supports the Iranian nuclear deal. And a lot of the issues he touched on were abortion, poverty, opening up the U.S. to Syrian refugees, and climate change, which was the main theme of his encyclical entitled Laudato Si.
So what makes this U.S. visit for the Pope so historic?
So, I mean, it was historic right off the bat. The president welcomed at Joint Base Andrews, which is the first time the president has ever welcomed a head of state there. And then moving on, you know, the Pope did so many historic things while here. He had the first mass canonization on U.S. soil, the first address to Congress. And so it's been a historic trip, and people showing out are showing that. We've never seen anything like this with those massive crowds.
Great, Mike. Thank you for being with us today. And Mike will be on Talking Points tonight with more on the Pope, and will be traveling to Philadelphia this weekend for the events. We're following a developing story out of Seattle where at least 4 people are dead after a crash involving a charter bus, a tour vehicle, and 2 other cars. According to first responders, that charter bus was carrying international students and staff from North Seattle College. Police say at least a dozen others are critically hurt. No word yet on what caused the accident.
I said 2 things. When there's not a single young woman in America who's abused who says to herself, "What did I do?" It's never, 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 never appropriate. It is never, never her fault. And when every young man in America knows that he cannot justify inappropriate behavior to a young woman based on the idea that she asked for it or I have the right.
That was Vice President Joe Biden speaking on the issue of college sexual abuse earlier this week. Today, a survey by the Association of American Universities has released new numbers about sexual abuse on campus. The survey says that 23% of women in college experienced some type of sexual abuse, ranging from unwanted touching or kissing to rape. This is the largest study of sexual abuse on campus to date, with more than 150,000 participants at 27 universities.
Tonight, new developments in the Volkswagen scandal. The car company says it plans to name Matthias Müller as Volkswagen's new CEO. This comes after Martin Winterkorn resigned from the position yesterday. The company is also taking a hit on Wall Street, where stock prices have plummeted. It all comes after the EPA found the company installed software in some of its cars in order to get around U.S. emissions tests. And the Los Angeles City Council declared a state of emergency in response to a rising homeless problem. It's estimated that the city has more than 25,000 homeless people. The mayor and city council are calling for $100 million to help find a more permanent solution to the problem.
In the midst of tense relations due to the arrest of an American citizen for alleged spying, President Obama will be welcoming China's President Xi Jinping to the White House tonight. Some of Obama's major talking points include Chinese military action in the South China Sea, Chinese economic problems, and cybersecurity. The White House hopes that this meeting will lead to future cooperation between the U.S. and China. The Syrian migration crisis is causing old tensions between Croatia and Serbia to re-emerge. Both countries are accusing the other of mismanaging the settlement of the refugees. The Serbian government claims that Croatia closing its borders has directly affected Serbian economy. Serbia has put a ban on importation of Croatian goods as retaliation. Well, wondering if it's going to stay warm? Jamie Weiss will let you know.
And in health news, controversy over the price of a potentially life-saving drug. We'll be back. Get rid of those chairs.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Well, thanks for sticking with us.
It's still nice out, but this is Syracuse. It could snow tomorrow for all we know.
Why don't we go to Jamie Weiss? Jamie, tell us something we want to hear.
Well, Max, you're not seeing snow anytime soon. It was 75 degrees outside, very sunny, very few clouds in the sky, and we weren't the only ones who had warm weather today. If we take a look at the area across the Northeast, everyone had 70s, low 80s. And take a look, no clouds, no precipitation anywhere. The only precipitation we see is up in Canada, and that will come hit us, but not for a while. Tonight it's going to be 53 degrees, maybe a couple clouds come sneak in, and tomorrow morning 77 degrees for the high. Still pretty warm, pretty comfortable. Looking at our 5-day weather forecast, it's going to be sunny, partly cloudy for the rest of the weekend, very comfortable in the upper 70s, and we'll have a 50% chance of rain on Monday. So we shouldn't be having too much more uncomfortable weather. We'll be enjoying the sweater weather coming up, and I know I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm really looking forward to this nice weather. But yesterday was the first day of fall. So can we expect shorter days?
We are. So most people think on the first day of fall you're going to have 12-hour days, 12-hour nights, but it's not the case. We're already having like 11 hours, 56 minutes, so not too much.
Getting a little shorter.
A little bit shorter.
Great.
Jamie Weiss, thanks so much. Now, leading health news today, the price of Darrow, a drug used to treat malaria and parasitic infections, rose from just over $10 to $750.
The over 4,000% increase in price has made the pharmaceutical company Turing the spotlight of public outcry.
The 62-year-old drug was bought by Turing in August after receiving backlash. The CEO of Turing has promised to lower the price.
Darrow has also been used as treatment for AIDS and cancer patients, although that's not its intended purpose. Beverage company Coca-Cola has revealed the details of grants that they have given to health research groups and community programs related to combating obesity.
Grants dating back to 2010 have totaled approximately $120 million.
The disclosure follows public concerns that Coca-Cola has used its resources to downplay their role in the escalation of obesity in America, as reported by the New York Times last month.
And business owners have just 1 week left to convert the credit chip system, a deadline set by companies like MasterCard and Visa. The system is widely used in Canada and Europe.
CitrusTV reporter Nick Papantonis will have the full story and what it means for small business owners tomorrow on CitrusTV News Live at 6.
And this one hit close to home for me. I was a big fan. I met him just a couple years ago, but baseball legend Yogi Berra died at 90 years old just yesterday.
Berra played for the New York Yankees before managing them for some time.
He reached the World Series 14 times and won 10 championships, more than any other player.
Yogi was the song of Italian immigrants and is also known for his short phrases known as Yogiisms.
Shondaland fans can finally stop holding their breath. The hit lineup of programming that includes Grey's Anatomy and Scandal is back.
How to Get Away with Murder's Viola Davis made history at the Emmys for winning Best Actress in a Drama. That show rounds out the night at 10 o'clock.
Thursday nights made history last year for their ratings and performances, and expectations are high for tonight's premieres.
And now Nick Dugan joins us in the studio with what's ahead in sports.
Coming up, the latest news and scores from the World Indoor Lacrosse Championships, plus an official word on quarterback Eric Dungey's status for Saturday. All that and more on the other side of the break.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Thank you, dear. Oh, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Staring contest!
You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The 2015 World Indoor Lacrosse Championships continue on the Onondaga Nation this week, with the tournament culminating in the Carrier Dome at 4 p.m. on Sunday. Producer of the games Eric Weiss has expressed his hope of selling out the Carrier Dome on Sunday for the gold and bronze medal contests. The Dome has sold 10,000 of the possible 28,000 seats for the championship game. 8 teams were in action today at the Onondaga Arena. Australia defeated Serbia 17-13, while Turkey edged out Switzerland 15-12. Action between the United States and Ireland is currently underway, and Israel takes on the Czech Republic later this evening. In his press conference today, SU head football coach Scott Schaefer announced that freshman quarterback Eric Dungey will not be available to play in Saturday's game against the 8th-ranked LSU Tigers, after taking a helmet-to-helmet blow last Saturday. Sophomore walk-on Zach Mahoney is likely to grab the start for the Orange after leading the game-winning drive in overtime against Central Michigan last Saturday. SU women's soccer takes to the pitch tonight to face national powerhouse and ACC foe North Carolina. The Tar Heels enter tonight's game ranked 3rd in the country, sporting a record of 8-0-1, while the Orange look to bounce back from a 5-0 loss to Virginia earlier this week. Sticking to the turf, SU field hockey returns to J.S. Coyne Stadium on Friday afternoon against number 4 ranked Virginia. Much of the buzz about the undefeated Orange, however, has settled around senior forward Emma Russell. Russell's goal against Yale last Sunday cemented her name in the SU record books, making her the all-time leading scorer in school history. Citrus TV's KJ Vaughn has reactions on Russell's latest accomplishment.
SU women's field hockey has a new queen of the record books. It's Emma Russell. The senior forward broke the all-time goal-scoring record at SU in Sunday's win versus Yale. And here's Emma to talk about what it means and how it's more of a team accomplishment.
It's really exciting. It's something really special to happen in general, to be here, while I'm here. And it's just, I've had some incredible teammates the last 3 and a bit years now who really helped me in just putting the ball where I need it. And it's a team award, I think, because it's something they're all team goals. And it's just really nice for the team to get the recognition.
She's smart, she's easy to communicate with, and she's grown so much from her freshman year to now. It's just so rewarding to me as a coach to see them emerge from a freshman to a senior, the maturity.
An awesome moment for Emma Russell and her teammates. But there's more in store. The SU women's field hockey team has hopes of a national championship and still very much alive with this undefeated start to the season. For Citrus TV, I'm KJ Vaughn.
The top two teams in the American League East squared off in a rubber match last night with the Yankees visiting the Blue Jays. And with just under 2 weeks left in the regular season, a 3.5-game lead for the Jays looms ever larger with each passing day. Yankees taking on the Blue Jays in Toronto. You see the number 8 patch on the jerseys in honor of the late, great Yogi Berra, passing away at the age of 90. We'll start off here in the bottom of the 6th. Kevin Pillar, RBI single, up the middle, scores Russell Martin. You know he's excited. 1-0 lead for Toronto. Then, threatening here are the Yankees in the 7th, but Marcus Stroman gets Dustin Ackley to line out to center field to end the top of the 7th. 2 runners stranded on base. 1-0 was the score, as I mentioned, but not after Russell Martin's 3-run towering shot into the outfield bullpen. 4-0 is the score in the bottom of the 7th, and that would be the final, as the Blue Jays now sporting a 3.5-game lead over the Yankees in the AL East.
Nick, thank you for that sports update.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Every proper bear knows that the right fit means everything. Especially when it comes to car seats.
Oh, really? I just did what any bear would do.
So know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size.
I like it.
To learn more, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, where's that bear?
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So this weekend, am I going to be able to golf, Jamie?
Of course, Max. You're going to have great weather for golfing.
And will the courts be dry for a game of tennis?
They will, but Monday there's going to be a 50% chance of rain, so do it before then.
Great, thanks.
So for this Thursday, we're throwing it back to 1968 when the now beloved TV show 60 Minutes debuted.
That's right, the show turns 47 years old today.
The iconic CBS show was introduced by anchors Mike Wallace and Harry Reasoner.
The two described the still-running show as a magazine for journalism.
Now that's all the time we have for Citrus TV News live at 6 tonight.
Thanks for watching. If you want to stay tuned with Citrus TV, like us on Facebook, follow our Twitter account, and you can always check out more content on YouTube.
Talking Points is going to be up later tonight. We'll have more coverage of the Pope's visit to America. On top of that, we'll talk about the road to 2016 and some more election coverage for you, as well as a new take on Brian Williams and his return to television news.
Make sure you stay tuned for some of our sports shows that you can stay caught up with SU Sports football game that's happening this weekend against LSU.
Now, once again, from all of us here at Citrus TV News, have a great night. I'm Max Darrow.
And I'm Jessica Mendelson.